channel. This one is going to be a bit more special, featuring all new, never before seen whips. So when Hobbii Yarn reached out to me asking if I wanted to try out a few of their yarn bases, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to pair it with gift knitting, since I'm going to be making smaller projects and a more variety of them. That way I was able to try out all sorts of different yarn that they offered to send me.
Hobbii is a Copenhagen-based yarn company with a large selection of all different types of yarn, ranging from colorful, self-striping sock yarn to neutral, cozy, chunky yarn. Their website is super easy to use as well. I really like how they list the weight of yarn and the fiber content right below each thumbnail, so you can find exactly what you're looking for. Each yarn base has a huge selection of color too, so you can find the exact aesthetic you are trying to achieve with your knit projects. Don't forget to check out the pattern tab at the bottom, where they have all of the patterns designed using the yarn that you have selected. You also just can't beat their prices, especially if you're on a holiday budget like I am.
I want to keep my knitting or gift knitting a bit more organized for the holidays every year, and instead of just knitting random things for each family, I certainly am not going to knit stuff for the entire family, so I decided to pick each, like a different smaller family each season or each year. So this year I'm going to do my sister's family. She has 2 girls and a little boy and a husband too. And then next year I'll choose like a different family, like my mom's family or my dad's family or more extended family. But it was a no-brainer to start with my sister's family, especially because most of them do watch this channel, which is really sweet because only one of them knits, my niece. But yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to knit stuff for them since they support me so much. And I did let them know ahead of time that unfortunately they're not allowed to watch any of my videos until Christmas, but I thought it'd be kind of fun after they open up their gifts, they can come back and watch these videos and kind of see what my process was in making them all for them. So without further ado, let's start with my sister because she is the oldest. So I knew that I wanted to make her a really cozy cowl, and I wanted it to be one color and textured as well. So the pattern I want to make for her is the Aeble Bandana cowl. Okay, just Aeble Bandana, and it's from the Woolfolk design team. And I'll insert a picture of it right here. A few years ago, I bought her this beautiful camel wrap tie winter coat, and I wanted to be able to knit her something that would pair well with that. So I decided to do a sagey green color, and I wanted it to be super soft since it was going to be up by her face. So I decided to go with this Divina 65% baby alpaca, 25% polyamide, and 10% merino wool. So I'll go ahead and show you that. This came in a lot of different colors, but I thought this sagey color was perfect. And I wonder if I can get the exact color. It's just color number 28 if you're looking for the same one. But yeah, this yarn is pretty unique. It kind of gives off the unspun vibe, but it's actually, I believe it's like a blown yarn. So it's kind of like a chain of thread, and then they blow the fibers inside of it, which makes it just uber soft. And I imagine this would maybe like shed less, so maybe there'd be like less hairs getting in your mouth and your eyes as you're wearing it, since it's more contained to the inside. I'll get up and show you a closer look of this yarn. Okay, so I don't know if you'll be able to get the full feeling of it
with a blown yarn because this is like the closest my camera will allow me to get. But I'm sure you've seen blown yarn before. I did knit up a swatch of this and it knit up so nice, so I'll show you that next. Normally I wouldn't knit up a swatch for like a cowl or a scarf or even a hat, but I wanted to be able to show you just how nicely it works up. So I definitely think I have the right fabric with the size needle I used. It'll allow for like a little bit of air passage, which is kind of nice so you don't get too sweaty. You kind of want something around your face to still be able to breathe. And so I feel like, yeah, again, the size with this fabric that I made is going to be perfect for this bandana. My next whip I am very excited about. This one I actually started knitting on, and I'm sure you've all seen it before. This one's gonna be for my younger niece. I noticed that she was wearing a hat in some photos that looked like it was getting a little too small, and I actually knit it for her a few years ago. So I decided I'm going to kind of brush up the hat that she has available to her now. A little backstory, I have knit her a sweater before. She's not very sweater knit worthy because when she opened up the gift, this is like 3 years ago maybe, I knit both of my nieces some sweaters. She tried it on and immediately started crying and ripped it off of her body, and I don't think she ever wore it again. I think it was maybe too warm or too tight. She was kind of going through a phase where if things didn't fit her right, it would really bother her. And then my brother-in-law, he didn't know that you're not supposed to throw like 100% lamb's wool into the washer and dryer, so it shrank to be about this big. Like it looked like a little sweater for a doll, which I thought would maybe fit on their American Girl dogs, but I think it was like even a little too small for that. So my sister gave it back to me, but I think I got rid of it because I didn't want just like this shrunken sweater laying around. It was a little triggering. So that's why she's not getting a sweater this year, but the hat that I'm making her is going to be super cute. It is the Harlow hat by Andrea Knits, so Andrea Mowry. And here is the start of it. I've never knit brioche before. I've always wanted to try. And I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you probably watch her videos as well. She always says that the Harlow hat is a perfect way to get started with brioche because it's just smaller stakes because it's a smaller project. And I am knitting this one inside out, so the main color is going to be this lavender. But the reason to knit it inside out is because it'll give a different look for the increases on the wrong side. So there we go. I'll get up and show it to you a little bit closer here. So here it is. I'm stretching it out a little bit just to give you a better idea. So this is going to be on the inside, and then this is what will be showing on the outside. The yarn that I chose for this one is Hobbie's Evergreen Organic Wool. It's 100% wool, and per the title, I imagine it's organic. I chose this lavender color, which is color number 35, because I'm pretty sure that's her and her sister's favorite color at the moment. And I thought that this rust color would just be a nice accent with it. Maybe I was a little selfish because I'm obsessed with the color rust right now, so I wanted to work on something that I really enjoyed. But I do think that it creates a lovely little dimension here. I have to admit, this is the second time I had to start this hat. The first time I knit it, I realized it was going to be just a little bit too small.
The sizing options were child and then young or youth slash adult small. And I was just worried that the adult small was going to be a little too big. But after knitting like a good chunk of it here, I tried it on my head and it wouldn't even like come close to getting over my head. And then I started looking at pictures of her on Instagram and comparing her head to the size of my sister's head, and I couldn't tell if her head was the same size or not. So then I googled the size of an 8-year-old head and got measurements and realized that this was going to be a bit too small. But I wasn't too upset having to start over because of that, because I also made a couple mistakes here in the brioche and at the very beginning, since it was my first time ever doing it. But now that I got it down, I was happy to start fresh, and so far I don't have any mistakes quite yet. If I have enough yarn left over for this hat, I want to make her a set of mittens, and I was using Hobbii's app to look through all the yarn and noticed that they have a ton of free patterns on there, and a pair of mittens that would be just perfect to go with this hat. They kind of have that brioche vibe at the bottom. So I'll do the rust and the lavender for the cuff, and then maybe like 2 strands of lavender for their hand. I also noticed on their app that they play virtual bingo, I think every week or like every Monday. I haven't played it yet, but I'm very intrigued by it. I think they just like pick the numbers at random and they'll mark your card for you, so there's like minimal effort required, and there's a lot of fun prizes and different things that you can win from it, probably like 30% off, or I don't know, that's just a guess. So I'm kind of excited to check what that's all about this Monday. This next project that I'm working on, I am like especially excited about because it's so stinking cute. I have a 2-year-old nephew whom I've not knit anything for yet, but better late than never, right? I decided that I wanted to make him like a 3-pack of some socks. I think that's a good thing for a toddler since he's running around in socks all the time. But I wanted it to be color work and kind of like a classic Scandinavian style. So I ended up finding a pattern on Ravelry, which is the Fårbocken sock for the whole family is what I think it translates to, by Erika Guselius. Sorry if I butchered that name. But yeah, as you can see, these are super colorful. I'll go ahead and show you the ones that I made. They're so tiny. I just can't get over how cute they are. I made the little heel. I'll get up and show you closer. All right, so here's a close-up. You can see the pattern forming here. Here's the little heel, so they're gonna be standing up like this. And I am just in love with this. I am doing 2 at a time because, like I mentioned, I wanted to make a 3-pack for him, so I definitely didn't want to knit a sock 6 times. I thought it'd be easier to just do 2 at a time, and that way I only have to knit it 3 times. But yeah, so very happy with how these turned out. I really like the yarn that's being used for this. It is the Rainbow 4-ply sock wool. So here's another one of them. I am going to be doing these 3 colors total. So as you can see right now, I'm doing these 2 together, and then I'm going to do one with these 2 together, and then the 3rd pair with these 2 together. And I thought it would make a cute little coordinating set of socks. This yarn is working up awesome. You may know that I struggle with stranded colorwork socks fitting, But in this pattern, it did say that you want to make sure that the yarn that you have is pretty stretchy, and I do feel like this yarn has good elasticity to it, so it should be stretchy enough to fit over his tiny little feet. I definitely would purchase this sock yarn for myself for socks too, if I want something that's not so silky and a little bit more hard for wear. They had like 44 different colors of this sock yarn, so you really can get pretty much any color that your heart desires. I think if I have time too, I'm going to knit my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, a pair of adult size of these, so that way he can match his little son. Be so cute. I feel like during the holidays, it's really important to be taking care of yourself too. I know we all get wrapped up in getting gifts for each other, which is great, but it's also a time to like celebrate yourself and make something for yourself as well. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to finally knit a sweater that I have been thinking about for months now, and that is the Off-Grid sweater by Rose Knitwear. I have made a balaclava by Rose in the past, and I really liked the way it turned out. I definitely want to make more of those this season. But then when she put out this sweater, I was just immediately like jaw dropped, obsessed with it. So I'm very excited to finally be making that sweater, and I'll show you my swatch for it. So this is the colors that I decided to go with here. And this is the Friends Wool by Hobbii, which is also a 100% wool. It also came in like 40 colors from what I remember. So it was like a little hard to choose, but I thought with all of this rust and like earth tone colors that I'm knitting up, it'd be nice to switch it up with something a little different. And I figured by the time I'm done knitting this sweater, it's probably going to be around Christmas time or shortly after Christmas time. And in like January, I usually want fresh colors on my body. So that's why I went with something a little different. Here's a closer look of the swatch. It kind of gives brioche vibes, but it's more like a half fisherman's rib type deal. I really like this yarn. It's also super elastic, similar to the sock yarn that I got. And I think that's really important, especially for fit. Like, it kind of, you get away with things a bit more if they don't fit right, but I was good and I made a little swatch, so I'm going to be able to figure out, obviously, if my gauge is on or not. So that'll make the sweater fit right for me. If you need more inspiration for holiday gift ideas this year, consider signing up for the Hobbii Plus, which gives you access to their entire database of paid patterns. I think you can get like a few free each month or something. But they're from designers all over the world, and after taking a look through it, there are a lot of fun different projects that you could make for your friends or family this holiday season. Thanks again to Hobbii for sending me this free yarn. That was very generous, and I'm loving everything that I'm making, and I'm so excited to be able to gift it to my family. I am going to have a part 2 of this video probably later in like December. I think I'm going to do another one in between to kind of catch you up with everything else that I've been working on. But yeah, stay tuned for how all of these projects turn out. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I think I'm going to start decorating my house a little bit for the season. I waited until daylight savings, and I I think I'm ready, especially now that I'm knitting all of these projects. It's starting to get me in the mood, and now I have a whole new house to decorate for, so it's like kind of a blank canvas for what I can do this year, and I'm just gonna jump right into it. So thanks again for always watching, commenting, and liking my videos. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and that way you won't miss out on any future videos that I put out. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day.